guys, Sam Cawthorn here, the creator of the bounce theory and the guy that has overcome death. Well look, Great Expectations have actually asked me to do a blog for them. It is an absolute honour to do a blog for the most amazing team. And so here we go. My blog today is actually all about not only bouncing back, but actually bouncing forward. Now I think we've all heard of that term, bouncing back. Look at that guy, look at that team, look at that individual. They've actually bounced back. But I think bouncing back focuses on what was. So basically our whole focus is actually to get us back to that place that got us to the crisis in the first place. So for me, it's not only about bouncing back, but actually more about bouncing forward. Because I think we all have crises, whether or not it's financial crisis or whether or not it's even personal, whether or not we're going through a personal relationship, problem, issue, burden, whether or not we are actually going through trauma, or even if it is actually a natural disaster, whatever crisis that we have had in our life, or even if we're going through, I think our focus shouldn't just be on bouncing back. And bouncing back is good, but I think there's something better, and that is actually bouncing forward. Now I want to actually very quickly do a model for you. And this is the model. Let's say for instance this is you. This could be you or your team or your organization, whatever it might be. And this is you, you know, you're going all very quite well, and this is sort of you going along in life, and then suddenly up here you hit a crisis. You'd have to bear with me. I used to be a dominant right-hander. Now all of a sudden having to use a left hand, it's sort of a quite interesting journey. So basically right here, this is the crisis point, and then suddenly you have a massive big downturn. So we'll call this a down turn. So suddenly this is the down turn here, and then down here, this is basically a rock bottom. Who here sort of felt like having a rock bottom in their life? It might have been personal or again in business. I think we've all sort of had these really low times, these rock bottom moments or whatever it might be. And then suddenly here we are here. We're focused, look, let's have a bounce back. Guys, we have to get back, we have to get us back to where we were before, whatever it might be. But then suddenly, this is our whole sole focus, is actually straight back up here to where we were before. Now let me tell you something, when I was going through my own rehabilitation, my own physio, when the physios, the occupational therapists, the doctors, nurses, etc., the whole sole focus for me after I had a major accident 4 years ago, the whole sole focus was to bounce me back to a place that was as close as they could get to a normal life. Back to the same job, back to the same working environment, whatever it might be. But I think for me something had changed, something had shifted. And so when I was going back to the same job, back to the same lifestyle, back to the same environment, it was no longer fulfilling for me because something had changed both physically but also mentally, emotionally. And so I was no longer satisfied with a bounce back. I had to go into a bounce forward, because when you go into a bounce forward, again, you focus on innovation, creativity, thought, leadership. You've never been there, and so suddenly you start thinking differently. And so for me, once we hit that rock bottom place, we can't just focus on this here, and this is what I like to call the bounce rat race. And that's all it is. You're just going round and round. This is where you are. You had a crisis, you had a downturn, you hit rock bottom, straight back up here, so on and so forth. And then suddenly you're just going through this massive rat race of a bounce cycle. And so what I like to do, I like to really encourage people is go into a place that you've never been to before. Continue to create, continue to embrace change, continue to innovate, and continue to be the thought leaders in your area of expertise. Thank you so much, Great Expectations, for allowing me to share a blog with you guys today. I hope you're having the most amazing 2011. And one other thing I wanted to finish off with is this. At the start of this year, the 1st of January 2011, it was the first time in history that we wrote this date. 1, 1, 1, 1. Can you see that? 1, 1. What does 1 represent? I think for me, 1 represents the beginning of something new, the start of something, come afresh like a new day. And my encouragement to you guys is today for 2011 is just simply embrace this year. I believe it is the year of increase. I believe it is the beginning of something new. The financial crisis is over. Crises, problems, burdens are actually now a thing of the past. Right now, we need to embrace what we have going forward. And so thank you so much again, Great Expectations. I hope everyone has the year of increase, the year of favour this year, and I cannot wait to connect with you again in 2011. My name is Sam Cawthorn, and let's not only bounce back, but let's bounce forward.